Business Takeout presents The Healthy Entrepreneur with Maxine Choy.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Healthy Entrepreneur Show. My name is Maxine Choy. I'm your host. And tonight we have our guest, Reina Barsotti. And Reina and I are going to talk about two little topics. One is called trusting our intuition, listening to what our mind is telling us, may be about just about anything, and also just learning to let go. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about a little bit about our own experiences as well. And we want the audience to be able to share with us if you've had any situations where you felt that you had to change the trajectory of your life due to whatever circumstances that is, and how you went about it. So we're going to just basically speak very candidly and just kind of share with you what it has been like for us, and even give some tips if we can, right?
Absolutely.
Welcome, Reina. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here, Maxine.
Yes,
Thank
exactly.
you.
So just a little disclaimer, everyone. I know Reina personally. She's a really good friend of mine, and I've always wanted to have her here, and so that we can talk about just like a lot of the things that we've talked about in the past, right? and
Yes,
and
those
just like
car
share,
rides.
yeah, the car rides in the past, exactly. And we have been through a journey, and we have, had that full circle of life's journey and all that stuff that's happened. And I think when you look back and you think about your life, and you realize that a lot of times we have our intuition, we know what we want, we know what's best for us, but then we are afraid of taking that chance, that leap of faith. Excuse me. And this is where we're going to talk about it a little bit. But before we begin, let me just tell the audience a little bit about what this podcast is all about. So, my name is Maxine Choy. As I said, I'm a health and nutrition coach, and I work with women to help them achieve attainable health and fitness goals. I like to adapt a mindset and accountability, and also being consistent, because I believe those are the things, the tools you need in order to get yourself on the path to living well. This show is brought to you by Business Takeout. It is a social enterprise that focuses on helping Black businesses through education and increasing. Sorry, let me just read it real quick. It's a nonprofit social enterprise, and their mission is to increase Black wealth and empower Black entrepreneurs. And really and truly, guys, this is a wonderful enterprise to be a part of. Most times when guests come on and they find out what's happening in behind the scenes of Business Takeout, they realize that there's just so much in the community for them to grow, and even just to learn about businesses, whether it's social media or anything that you need, whatever part of your business that you're in, and you need some advice and tips. Business Takeout is a group that you want to join. And as well, even with this platform, and if anybody is looking to be a guest on the show, please reach out to us. We are looking for guests to talk about just about anything, right? So I just want to give a shout out to Business Takeout. Please like and share this video and follow them on all platforms. And without further ado, Reina, take the floor a little bit and just tell the audience a little bit about you.
Okay, absolutely. So I'm Reina Barsotti. A little bit about me. So, okay, I love to chat, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I have been so my background's actually in the fashion and the beauty industry. But then, it doesn't always go that way sometimes. You kind of take what's positioned in front of you and you kind of run with it. So then I started to work in finance. So down right there on Bay Street. And so I've been in that industry for quite some time. My last position, I was working in corporate finance. But I'm still a beauty and fashion girl. Like,
Yes,
that's my love. That's my passion that fuels me. So that's what I did for a number of years. And I love it. I'm not going to say that I didn't enjoy it. I did enjoy it.
Right.
because I was able to expose myself to so many opportunities. I've learned so much, just so much. So of course I'm like, I love learning. So I was
Mm-hmm.
grateful for that. And just, and actually just having that experience of being in the corporate world, right?
Right.
So then fast forward a bit, 2020 came along
Yes.
and I was still doing my corporate job, working from home. But then it kind of sparked something. So it
Is that when
was
is that when you start to realize that you needed to follow your intuition?
partly,
And
yes,
okay.
because I knew while I was doing that, corporate typical, what we do. We've all been
Mm-hmm.
there. I'm sure some, most of us. But I knew in my heart that I, at some point in my life, that I needed to come back and to do something that I was passionate about, something that fueled me. But it had to be something where I was actually helping others.
Right.
Because to me, I look at it, what benefit is there if I can't help someone else? So I knew, and often as I think as we mature, I don't want to say age, you start to reflect and try to think, what's your life purpose? Like, what is my purpose here on earth? Like, what is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and I was never able to come up with an answer. And I was literally embarrassed about that.
Yeah,
Um,
been there.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I think it's kind of like, man, I can't answer that question. And I'm
exactly.
like
Mm-hmm.
heading into the 40s at this
Mm-hmm.
point, and I'm like, I can't answer this question. And it was hard.
Right.
But anyway, so 2020 came along. I was doing my corporate from home because the whole world was,
Lockdown.
locked down. And I bumped into some other opportunities, and I was like, why not? It's kind of fashion, it's beauty and wellness. So I was really excited about it, but I think I was seeing something that I was lacking, which was a community first and
Mm-hmm.
foremost.
Right.
Because we're on lockdown, right?
Yes.
And just people that vibed with you. What is it they say? Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yes.
So I worked, and then I kind of knew. So something was telling me that it was time. It was time for me to grasp what I wanted to do and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And just do it. I know you've
So
been there, Max.
yes. Well,
Right?
just like when we were backstage, I was talking about, and I wrote it down, what 2020 and 2021 did for so many of us. Um, there was a lot of talk about pivoting, transitioning, following our hearts,
Yep.
trusting the process, going within, trusting in the universe. And this is all in the face of either like crisis in our lives, whether that crisis is our family,
Mm-hmm.
friends, our relationships, our job, the government. Like
Yep.
there's just so many reasons why this 2020 and 2021 changed a lot of people, where they started to now go deeper within and start
Mm-hmm.
listening to their instincts,
Yeah.
like trusting, like even just like trusting and saying,
Trust.
okay, what do I want out of
Yeah.
life?
And
What
it's
do I
scary.
want to make me happy?
And
Yeah,
it's scary.
very
Um,
scary.
you
And
know, so yeah, it's you're so right, because that was like the words. Like, as you said something there was a word that I was like,
yes,
ooh, pivoting.
yes,
That was
pivoting.
that word. And at first it became just like chirping, because you just hear
Yeah,
it all the time.
everybody
But you
was
made it
saying it. Yeah.
right, because everybody was saying it. But, and I'm gonna say things, and sometimes like I always have to clear the air, because a lot of people had a really hard time.
Yes.
And I feel it for them over that year.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas for me, and I hate to say this, but I had a great time. It was
See,
hard that
I like that you said that, because
I did.
some people had a terrible time
Yeah.
and some people had a great time because they had a chance to pivot,
Yeah.
And really, like I said, like I think when I approached you about talking about following our instincts, there's a lot of pieces to our conversation,
Yeah.
in terms of how we're going to share this with the audience,
Hmm.
and with you saying that COVID, you had a good time. I think that was
Yes.
probably a time for you to now figure out what you really want, and
And
trusting the
reflect
process and learning to let go, because oftentimes we are holding on to a couple of things:
and habits.
security,
Exactly.
comfort, anything. We hold
Yeah.
on to it, and we're afraid to take that chance. And I really wanted to talk about the letting go and following intuition, not
Yeah.
in a sense of like letting go of people or even a
No.
relationship. It's more
No.
about
It's
letting
digging
go.
deeper.
Yes, and letting go of the fear that we have to
Yeah.
take chances, start a new career,
Yeah.
start,
And that's
start
what I did.
exactly.
That's what I did.
So like
So
when
yeah,
okay,
and
so
that's what I did.
when you when you left your job and you said to me, "Oh, by the way, this is my last day of my full time job." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like you were just so into it. You were at
You
meetings,
know,
you're going all over the place, and you just quit the
yeah,
job.
and I'll tell you, Maxine, let me tell you. So when I was done with that, because I knew in my heart and in my in my head and my heart, um, it wasn't where I was gonna be for the long haul. I knew it.
You knew exactly,
I knew
and your
it.
intuition was telling you that, but we
It was,
stay in
but I
there
was
because we're afraid. Oh,
exactly.
let me
I
just
was, I was,
get all
I was
excited.
scared because I was scared. It's like, oh my gosh, like what am I doing? What am I doing? I have a family. Da 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 da.
Yeah.
So, mind you, I am very, very, very grateful for that. Very grateful.
Mm-hmm.
I still give thanks and praise to that. But I decided to go and partner with a luxury brand that sells like wellness and skincare and hair care. And then I also tagged on with another health and wellness company. And for the first time, when I've made a decision, I felt that zen, that
Yes.
peace, that
Yes.
comfort, and that fear. I did not allow it to creep in. I went with what I was feeling. And I think I told you today, everybody might feel it differently, but we all know it. We all feel it. And I
Yeah.
think as females, we don't realize how strong our intuition is, how strong it
Absolutely.
is.
It's
We
very
push it
strong.
aside.
Yes, it
Push it
is.
aside. Push it aside. It's like, oh, because we discredit ourselves a lot. We're like, oh, it's just my brain, silly thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I if
No.
I one thing I can want to leave is stop and actually listen to it. And you may not know the exact answer at the
Right.
time, but I think we don't believe in ourselves enough, and I think we have to find out why. And after I spoke to you today, I was thinking why.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
discovering my
Yeah.
why I didn't
That's
believe in
that's the key,
myself.
discovering your why before, like, when something is resting on your heart and
Mm-hmm.
you can't quite sure why it's taking you so long to either get to it or
Yeah.
decide whether, or just get rid of the fear. You think about your why. And I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of people here on social media over the past few years, especially when I started this podcast, and even just interviewing people. And I've learned so much about how externally we try to put on a facade. No matter how you look at it, we try to put on a facade of doing wonderful, and I'm happy with what I'm doing, and it's perfect and it's working well. When I say perfect, I don't mean like it's perfect, but we're out there on social
It's
media.
not broken, so why try to fix
Right.
it? We're thinking, right?
Exactly. So we're out here on social media and we're doing what we're doing, and it's working, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
working, and it's safe, so to speak, and
Safe. That's the
right,
word. We feel safe.
and everybody's watching, and we just say, oh, yeah, you know what, it's good, it's going well. Same as if you're not on social media and you're around your family, your friends, they're seeing what you're doing, they think that you're happy with your job and you're happy with everything else, and it's working.
Mm-hmm.
And what I going back to what I was saying is, when I met all of these people and having conversations with them, I realized that a lot of people are not entirely happy with what they're doing.
Yeah.
And sometimes um, it takes us to get still,
Yes.
let go of the ego,
That's very
right?
important.
And go deeper within to find your why, like you said, and be honest with yourself, because your intuition is what's going to guide you. Like, never regret the decision you make,
Yeah.
because they lead take you where you need to go, right?
Yeah. Like
So
today when we were just chatting for a bit, and I was just thinking, I was just putting my laundry or something, and I was like, why was I afraid before? How
yeah.
come it happened in 2020? That's what I was asking myself. Why was it? So then I thought to myself, I knew why I was afraid before. I got my answers today. Um, Family,
Mm-hmm.
Friends, because I knew I had it in me to take a leap and to do social selling, because that's what I do. Um, and it's a job. People see different. It's a job and it's a business, and I always thought to myself, if so and so can have this, why can't I? Because the last time I checked, when we both cut, we're both bleeding red, so we're no different, right? So I thought it was just like, and it was the things in our head.
Mm-hmm.
And for all I was putting that in my head. I don't know what people are going to think about me. I don't know what people, but I was thinking, oh, they might think, what is she doing now? Or why are you doing this?
And
Or
what?
do you
Yeah.
really think you're going to sustain yourself on this?
Yes. Yes.
But at the end of the day, and I think you probably heard me say this, at the end of the day, I had to go with those instincts that
Mm-hmm.
were in me. And I don't think that, what am I trying to say? I think turning your back on it, you're actually doing yourself a disservice.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's better to, there's a little saying, and I might not say it properly. It's better to fail knowing that I've tried than to fail knowing that I haven't tried.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Right?
Definitely, because I personally have failed trying something, meaning failed as in, like, I didn't like it.
Yeah. But you don't know till you haven't done it, right?
It wasn't that I didn't do a good job or I failed. I just didn't like it. Or it really wasn't meant to be. Like, it wasn't, like, there's so many things that you can do, you have the ability to do, but you may not enjoy it, right?
Exactly.
And maybe I should just take the word failed and just say, you know what, it just wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't meant to be.
Exactly.
Right. And you don't know till you've tried it, right?
Exactly.
That's what I tell everybody. I said, you don't know till you've tried it.
Exactly.
But you do know that you've made the right decision when you feel what I just told you I felt. That sense, like, Maxine, like that feeling of just like a soothing feeling.
Yeah.
Like a very calming feeling. Like I wake up calm. I go to bed calm. Yeah, I have crazy days. Don't get me wrong. We all do. Yeah. It's life. Right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, I trusted what I was feeling. I feel it in my heart. You feel it in your tummy. You feel it in your head. And right after I got off the phone with you, Mama's intuition, I told you, I was like, I texted you. It's like, oh my goodness. My son was at the skate park. And I was like, I need to text him. Any mother would say, oh, let me text my kid. But it was something.
And you knew that there was something happening.
I knew there was something. And I knew on his reply, I kind of looked I told him, I looked at the phone because he says, yep, all good. I said, I put the phone down. I didn't know how to reply. And usually I know how to reply to my son. But I knew something. And then within seconds, he's like, I fell. I hurt myself. I needed to come get me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, a mother's intuition is very strong and powerful.
Yeah, and a female intuition too is exactly so powerful.
We had two comments from one of the viewers. Can I just look at it? The producers can put it on the screen for me. I want to acknowledge. Okay, so Charmaine, is it Charmaine? Leah? Oh, thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate your comment. Georgia, how are you, Georgia? Good to see you. You just popped in. I hope that you stay, and I hope that you're enjoying this. I know that there are people who are going to be watching this afterwards, and there's people who are watching it now, and perhaps something that we're talking about is resonating with you, and if it is, please feel free to comment. However, what's really passionate about this conversation for me is the fact that oftentimes we struggle with our intuition and trusting what our mind is telling us,
Yes.
and taking the chance to let go.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody here is on the fence, trying to figure out like what to do with a situation, maybe you've made a decision and it's a heavy one, right?
It's heavy.
It's gonna, yeah, that decision may cause you to
Hurt people.
take up your time, change plans, the family dynamics, work dynamics. It
Some people
may,
might be, their feelings might be hurt. It could be a relationship,
it could be a relationship,
right?
and it could be that it's going to change your finances or where you live, or anything at all. Like, I think that,
Trusting the process. I
yes,
always say that.
because it's like you said, if you don't try, how will you know, right?
How would I know?
I'm,
And then, because I've done this. We all look back and be like, oh,
yeah,
what I should have.
I
What
should
if? So
have,
like,
yes,
why not do it? And it's just,
yes,
as you were saying, what you were just saying, one little tip I'd like to let people know is sometimes I'm a old school pen and paper girl. I have an obsession with notebooks.
me
Write
too,
it down. Write down.
yes,
Literally write it down, because when you visually see it, because when it's in your
yes,
head, it gets tied up and intertwined with everything else. Being a
yeah. I have
mom.
6 notebooks. I
Oh
have a
gosh,
book
I have a notebook for everything. It
for
gets
everything.
intertwined when it just leave it on your head, right? When you put it
Exactly.
down on paper and draw like a line down, maybe write pros and cons, or maybe write down, be true to yourself. No one's going to see this. This is your book. Just be
Just
true to
yours.
what
Yeah.
am I afraid of? And one suggestion I have is write down two things, what those intuitive feelings are feeling like for you.
Right. Okay.
And two, write down, I said what the feelings are, and write down what's stopping. Like, what do you think is
So
stopping?
the barriers that you're facing.
The
That's what you
barrier.
mean. Okay. Got
Exactly.
it. Yes.
So look, I might say, like, in my head, like some people might say, like, for me, past relationships, I could be like, something was in my head, like literally will wake me up. It was a feeling, it was a heaviness. It was almost like I thought I was getting heart attack.
An intuition that you had.
Oh, it was heavy. It was
Yeah.
heavy. It was like heart, it was tummy, and I was always right. And it was sometimes sad to know that I was right. It was sad.
I can relate
right?
to that.
Because you were hoping that you weren't going to be right.
Yeah, I can relate to that completely,
Right?
because you don't want to be that person that's always saying, like, your intuition
Doubting
sometimes
Thomas
can
or
be,
something, right?
well, your intuition can sometimes be misunderstood as maybe like you're suspicious.
Oh, paranoid.
Or paranoid, right? So I think that,
sorry to cut you off, but I think if it comes back all the time, if it's the same thing coming back, write it down. Write it down.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, should I go out today because it's raining? And it's not. If it's something that's keeping you up or waking you up, or little things, listen, it's better to get the results and be like, oh, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Just, that's how I look at it.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So since your pivot and your change of career, is there anything that you can look back and say, why, like, are you saying anything like, why didn't I do this earlier? Or are you just like going full throttle? Are you?
I like that question. I like that question. I think we all ask ourselves that, but I don't focus on it because I am a woman of faith, and I believe that every step I've taken, every path I've walked, the timing is now for me. My timing wasn't 3, 4, 5 years ago. My timing was now. Because
so anybody listening, Reina just said something interesting. The timing is now, because and I don't mean to cut you, but
it wasn't meant to be back then.
Right.
I was meant to make mistakes back then.
Yeah, because
make mistakes, but
a lot of times people want to change or change a career or change a direction, or even start something new, and we sometimes go, I'm getting too old. Nobody's gonna right.
Not old. It's mature and wiser.
Mature and wise.
Mature and wiser.
Exactly. And we sometimes have doubts and fears about what people will say or do, or even how you will be able to manage this brand new
Yeah.
lifestyle that you're going to create for yourself.
But
And
you find yourself, as you pivot, you kind of run into new paths and new people, and then you might filter some, or you might hold on to some, right? You know, doing what I'm doing, I've lost a lot of acquaintances or friends, but it doesn't stay in my head. It's like, oh well, if you don't want to talk to me for what I'm doing, then oh well. Because at the end of the day, who's putting bread on my table? Me.
me. You know that snapping fingers,
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Because I haven't changed. I've just changed what I choose to do to make a living.
Oh,
I haven't changed. If anything, I've gotten better. I've gotten nicer.
yeah.
I've gotten happier. I've gotten more zen. I've gotten more calm. I've gotten more relaxed. I I look at things and I try to put perspective. And don't get me wrong, I make mistakes, and I have days where, like the other day, I was talking to one of the girls on my team, and I'm like, oh, I'm having a heavy day. And I didn't know what it was, but what I do know is I didn't let it consume me.
Hmm.
I'm like, you know what? I'm having a heavy day, so I don't think I can really focus. So I just did something for me. I did something
Yeah.
I haven't done in years. I watched TV. I don't watch TV. I actually sat down and picked up the converter. I'm like, okay, how do I use this? I was calling it. Can somebody show me how to use this? And
Yeah.
and then you know what? So I was able just to like. I felt heavy. Like, you know what? I feel like I wasn't progressing, and I was like, no, I can't beat myself up for that, because if I show up or try to show up or try to do something with that heaviness, it shows.
Yeah.
And then I really have, I'm going to be like a hamster on the wheel. I'm going to get nothing accomplished. So I took a day, I did like small things, but I took a day
Yeah.
and we need it.
You know, that is so true. I have some tips here as to what we can do to help us when we're going through moments like that, and being overwhelmed and burnt out with all the thoughts that come with the anxiety or
Mm-hmm.
the emotions that come with us making a change in our lives, or making a decision to go in a certain direction, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. Like we're always evolving, we're always learning and changing. I think if you don't evolve, you're just not living. I think you should
Exactly. It's
totally
so true.
yeah, I think
Exactly.
everybody should just like
I'm
go
not
out
dead
there.
yet.
Yeah,
That's for
you're
when
not
you
dead.
die.
Go out, just do what fuels your soul. Connect with people who are going to inspire you and uplift you.
That was
Um,
the next thing I wanted to say before. I wanted to
okay.
say sometimes, because I've done this, you reach out, like, let's say if you're going through a relationship issue, right? You reach out to your friends. You just fly off and you reach out to your girlfriends. Now, that's well and good, but you need to know you have those girlfriends. You got to really
Yes.
figure that out. And sometimes you may not, that may not be the best, and I'm just using this as an example, that may not be the best choice. It's probably better to reach out to a stranger.
Yeah.
No judgment, right?
Nope.
Um,
They have a
firm
different.
believer in
They're
therapists.
unbiased.
I think everybody in the world needs a therapy, should
Mhm.
have therapy, because you kind of, you know what I mean? Because somebody that knows you, you might have a good girlfriend, but there might be like some
Yeah.
underlying, like maybe there's jealousy, whatever. You have to really know who you're reaching out to, because again, you're going to stay on that hamster wheel, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then, and then when you have the good girlfriends, listen to
Yeah.
them. Don't try to
Yes.
fix it all on your own.
Yes.
Listen
Listen to
them,
them.
because they
Good.
care
But the
about you.
key is good girlfriends.
Good
Good.
girlfriends.
The
Listen to
ones
them
that
because they care.
or
Exactly.
friends.
And
Yeah.
you again, comes to your intuition. You feel it. You know it.
You know it. Yeah.
Right?
I know. So I talked about letting go of the ego and just following your gut, but also getting still and be gentle on yourself, because
Mm-hmm.
um, you want to make sure that you are going to make the right. You're making a logical and reasonable decision, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes it's not. But as you say, just better trying and failing than never trying at all, right? But
Absolutely.
yeah, just if anybody's watching and they're thinking about doing something new, and or maybe maybe there's something that's heavy on your heart, and your instincts is telling you something, but you're just not listening, you're not following it, because maybe you're afraid of it being revealed to you, the truth,
Yes.
and maybe you're afraid of the truth, what the outcome of that truth would be, like whether it
Yeah.
means that you have to
And
like
it's hard.
leave a situation, or you no longer have.
And it's sad.
It
I've
is.
been there. It's hard and
It's
it's sad.
Yes.
And can I tell you, just to know the feel like that, when you get that stillness, it's the best. It's like the best red velvet cake you've ever had.
Yeah. But you know, I have a friend who is making a major change, and I actually have a couple of friends making major changes in their lives, and I'm sitting back and I'm just like observing and really wishing that they can see that I'm screaming with excitement and enthusiasm and optimism about what they're going to do. And there was a moment when I saw that calm in them, and I was trying to figure out, like, when do you get that? Like, is it when like, I don't know. It's just, when do you get that moment of just like, okay,
you know,
okay.
it just happens. I can't.
Yeah.
You just. I can't
'Cause
say
I
it's
felt
at this
that.
stage.
Yeah.
I can't say it's at that stage. You just know.
You just know.
Know, because you feel it. Like, it's a feeling. And like, I just want to touch, like when I said COVID did me well, I was able to trust all those little voices in my head. And there was a good, because there's good and bad, right? And I was grateful to actually embrace and have dinner with my family again. I never had dinner with my family. I come home and they ate. Or my life was like good, but it was a scramble, rushing off the train. Oh my God, my kid has sports and I don't want to miss it because I have to be that mom. I have to be there. But now I felt, oh my gosh, but I know it feels. Some people love chaos. Some people strive off of that. I strive off of the calmness. I strive off of the sun. I love the warmth and the sun. And I strive off of being by the water. I have to live where I live by the water. You
live down by the water, right?
It fuels me.
Yeah, it does.
If I wasn't living by the water anymore, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I need a pond or something. But, and I think when you get to that stage, people around you feel it.
Yes.
Right? And I was like, oh my God, what kind of person was I before? Like, I'm still like that, fun-loving, crazy, like, loves to have fun. But with your decisions, I guess what I'm trying to say, and your, the things that, what's that book? Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. You realize that something like that.
Exactly. Don't sweat the small stuff. Yeah.
It'll all work out. Trust whatever you believe in. Just trust in it.
I like that. Whatever you believe in, just trust in it.
Just trust in it. Like,
and
I just firmly say, write it down.
Yes.
Visual. See it.
Right.
Because it speaks so differently when it's muddled up in your head with laundry and everything else.
Right.
It really does.
Thank you so much, Reina. I really appreciate this. Like, a few things that you said resonated with me, and I hope it resonated with the audience as well. Where can people reach you if they would like to follow you on this journey that you're on? And I think it's wonderful, by the way.
I'm on Instagram at Rein, REIGN, and Grace. And I am also working on building a website. So I don't have a website handle yet.
That's okay.
But that's where I am.
Yes.
Mainly I'm on Instagram.
Awesome. Yes. Okay. So with that said, I want to thank you for coming on here.
Thank you for having
me. Really,
me.
really good to have you finally.
I'm so happy. I'm so honored. You have no idea. I'm so honored to be a part of what you've been growing for so many years. Like, I'm so proud of you.
I love you.
I love you.
Thank you so much, Reina.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
So with all that, I want to just thank everyone who's been watching. Thank you for your support. And I hope that we have helped you in some way or another by sharing our own experience. And if you're looking to make a change in your life, whether that be a career or whatever, even just to take care of your health, you can reach out to myself and Reina, because we both we work together behind the scenes.
Yes.
But we're here for you. We're here for you. And also, even with your business, Business Takeout is here for you. So
Exactly.
we've got it all covered right now. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And
Thank you.
thank you, Reina. And with that said, good night, everyone, and stay well.
Good night.
If you enjoy our programming and want to help support Black entrepreneurship, please donate today. www.businesstakeout.com/donate.